And Chuck is going to come and share about some of those transformational stories that he's heard, that he's experienced himself as he's gotten involved in the lives of the migrants. Chuck?
Thank you, Brent, and thank you everyone for coming. I'm going to tell you two stories of the migrants that I work with. First of all, I want to talk about when President Obama came to visit China. The press tried to say the G2 are getting together. But China would not recognize there's a G2. But whether China or US want to recognize there's a G2 or not, we are the G2. China is going through a spiritual revival unprecedented in the history of the church. The number of Christians is estimated to be more than the number of committed Christians in the United States. A nation of 1.3 billion people, estimated to have about 10% proclaimed Christian inside China today. About 200 to 250 million migrants, what we call floating population, are moving around every year inside China. These people are the target of our ministry. Most of these migrants are seeking jobs in the cities, and many of them would end up working inside the factories, restaurants, bars, hotels, offices, and other service industries. One of our former Bible school students, Xiaoxue, also called Grace, was one of the migrants workers from the Guizhou province, which is one of the poorest provinces in China today. She was from a minority male village up in the mountain of Guizhou. Because she was the second girl in the family, her parents want to leave her up in the mountain to die. She was left there for 3 days and 3 nights without food and water when she was only 3 months old. But she did not die. So after 3 days, her parents came up to the mountains and tried to look for her corpse and try to bury her, but she was still crying and yelling. Then they took her home. Her parents were then divorced and remarried. She ran away from home at the age of 14. But then she had nowhere to go. She came to work for a bar and become a bar girl, and then a prostitute. In the year of 2004, she attempted to commit suicide, but failed. Lying in the hospital bed, God spoke to her. Come home and not wander anymore. She left her bar life and went to church. She was baptized into the church. As soon as she was baptized, she spent many months reading the Bible many times over and over again. And then in the summer, she would return to the male village up in the mountains to share the gospel and her testimony to her friends and her relatives. Many were touched. In year 2006, she came to our Bible school for training, and she graduated and went to live in the Shanghai area. Now she's married to a house church pastor and recently gave birth to a baby girl. They are now living in the northeastern part of China, pastoring a house church there. But next year, they're coming back to us to join us to run the new City Youth Center. Her story is in this magazine. The detail. I just told you not the detail, the outline. There's another person called Joshua, one of our former staff. He came from the mountainous area of Guangxi province. He was from the Zhuang minority group. And he came to the Mission Bible School in 2002 and graduated in the same year. And he was sent to work for a small town City Youth Center where we planted among 2 factories. These 2 factories, of course, are run by Christians. And then during the time he was there, he had converted 1,000 migrant factory workers and staff to Christ. And we have helped him to baptize over 200 of them. And then we sent him to study in the evening university program in Dr. Sun Yat-sen University in Guangzhou. Just about 6 months ago, he discovered he had cancer. He just passed away November 2nd, 2009, in the company of his wife Leah and his parents and his relatives up in the mountains of the Zhuang Mountains in Guangxi. But his wife decided to stay in his hometown to continue to witness, to evangelize the Zhuang village up in the mountain, to continue the legacy of Joshua, his ultimate wish to evangelize the Zhuang villages up in the remote areas of the Guangxi mountains. We want to continue the legacy of Grace and Joshua, the legacy to disciple the whole nation of China. But we cannot do it alone. We are calling all of you to participate in the legacy, to write a new chapter in the history of the church. In hindsight, but please don't forget to pray for America as much as we are praying for China. When I was in China, I always pray for America, because I know so many people are praying for China, but we seem to forget about our own country. This legacy would not be able to continue or even begin without the missionary effort of America. The Pilgrim Fathers had left us a legacy, and let us not forget about it. Pray for America that we will continue to be a nation to bring about change. Pray for America so that we would become the agents of change. And we are the agents of change. Amen.